Yeah, yeah. I thought I'd come online and tell a little story. So, I'm still not discharged. It won't be till tomorrow. They decided they were going to keep me for one more day because they wanted to run one more bag of IV. Probably an excuse. And then it let me get to the CAT scan, so I had that done. And so all is well. I saw the nurse that refused to take care of me yesterday, and I said hello. I was very kind, and as I was doing my walking. But anyways, the residents here are, these are doctors, the ones that I'm talking about. The residents who are working here come in and assess me every day. They see if there's any other further problems, if anything's progressed, discussions. They thoroughly check my body. They'll check my scalp. They check my skin. So they're pretty thorough. And they're learning to be better doctors in the future. And it would be their position to do such a thing, such as pulling down my pants for them to check out the nether regions and things like that. So when you become a new patient and in inpatient status, you could become a new patient. There's a whole assessment that has to be done, questions asked, and we'll assess all this, blah 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 blah. And then they do, they'll assess the body, and question. So, anyways, that's normal. It takes about anywhere from I think I got in at 1 a.m. in the morning, and the nurse was finally finished with her assessment by 4 a.m. And then I was able to get some sleep if I could. So you can see that that whole process is quite lengthy. But that's when you first arrive. And then after that nurse walks out that door and you're an inpatient and you're already assessed and you've met with your doctors and the residents come in with the doctor or with other doctors, specialists if they need to get an answer for something that and for something that they love to find, they love to find things they don't know anything about. Yeah, it's like the greatest thing. So it's stimulating, it's part of their opportunities and everything else. So lovingly me, I have something to offer them that they know nothing about. And we've seen three different doctors tell me three different things. So three doctors came in all at once to assess it together, which was cool. It was fun. I'm very much the participant in such a thing. I have no problems with that. So tonight I get a new nurse, right? And I think that I don't know, she may have been here for a while, but it's on another floor somewhere. I've never met her, and I don't think she's familiar with what to do. And little young girl, about I'd say mid 20s, and she comes in and she gets on the computer and she gives me my meds that are assigned. It's all listed. It's all under orders. She wants to give me heparin, a shot in the belly, but I tell her no, no, no. That my platelet count is too low for blood thinning, and and so she put it away. And she comes and decides that she's going to come around the thing, and she wants me sitting up. She's going to check my lungs, and now she wants to check my, whatever, my legs or whatever. And she stands around. She comes over. She listens to my heart. She tells me that my skin is some type of skin, and then and she goes, "And were you a smoker?" And I said, "Yes, from the time I was 16 until, quit, quit, quit. You can quit all you like until you finally do quit." And I quit in 2019. And she looks at me just blank faced and she goes, "That's the reason why." And I said, "Excuse me?" I said, "You don't have to be sarcastic about it." And she goes, "Oh, am I?" With no feeling in her face, no nothing like that. It's like, "Oh, am I?" And I said, "Excuse me?" I said, "You can get lung cancer from anything these days. It could have been a GMO product, it could have been a Monsanto product. And I said, furthermore, cigarettes say it on the box, so it can cover all these things, emphysema and childbirth defects. So it's an addictive drug. And you're going to tell me that's the reason? I said, you're going to assess me? I said, no, ma'am, you are not going to assess me. And I don't need a nurse tonight unless you have to give me a med. So I said, out. Get out of my room right now. Leave. You are not welcome in this room. And she didn't know what to do. I said, out. So she tried to turn off the lights. And I said, no, leave it alone. Just shut the door. And then 5 seconds after she left, they came in to take my blood pressure. Boom! It was and then another nursing aide comes in, this big, muscular football player guy, and he says, "We're going to have to call someone right away or inform them because this is serious. This could be, heart." And then I said, "No, it's not serious." He goes, "Yeah, heart disease isn't serious." I said, "I don't have heart disease. I have lung cancer." And I just bitched out the nurse and told her to get the hell out of my room, which is my personal space while I'm here. When they assessed me in the beginning and they entered all that information, this became my room. And I said, so you don't do anything but put that in the chart and they'll see it later. And if they need to ask about it, I'll tell them why. And so they tried to turn the light out. I said, leave it alone, shut the door. So it took me a minute to calm down. I went out there to the hallway and I found him and I apologized. I said, look, I'm sorry, I have to apologize. But we don't need to be assessing me as if I'm a new patient. I'm not a new patient. We're not going to find new symptoms to cause trouble. I'm getting discharged tomorrow, whether you like it or not. So I'm in protective mode. See, in protective mode. So then I saw Josh, who was my good nurse the night before, who did my blood draw because I know I have to do a blood draw in the morning because they have to see how my levels are every day to see how everything is going since my transfusion. So I asked him if he would take over as far as the blood draw when it comes time. He said he would talk to the nurse, and I told him, I said, I think she's autistic. I think she's on the autistic spectrum, and that she has no feeling, and she can understand nothing I said. She can't relate to anything but a textbook, what the textbook tells her, like the narrative tells society or tries to um, through mainstream. It's a narrative, and she's going to assess me in that capacity with no emotion base. The brain and the heart cannot connect to make the ability to have conversation, to share, to understand, to have sympathy. She has none of that. So then I saw another nurse that I know, and I told her what happened, and I said, I have to say that she's on the autistic spectrum. She goes, she is. They know that. So she's having a difficult time adjusting and trying to. I said she needs to work on the psych ward. She'll fit right in. So I told her to. I told her she is not doing my blood draw. She's not touching my port. She tried looking at it. She just went, oh, oh. It's so crazy. I don't need no trouble tonight. No trouble. Mm-mm, mm-mm, ain't gonna happen. And I'm not gonna let it happen. They do this. Trouble last night, or well, it was during the day, but trouble during the day, and it got resolved. It was exactly what needed to be done, and no one has questioned. I'm not on telemetry. There's no reason to be. And I have my connection to my port. There's no reason for anything other than that. So I'm a hall walker. I'm ambulatory. I'm fully capable of doing. I put my own dishes away. Bring them a lunch when it's hot. That's all I ask. And so now I apologize. I went out there and apologized and told him to come back in about 40 minutes and do another blood pressure. And then it'll probably go right down. I should go drop a gumi. Yeah, yeah. Jeff brought me some good news, so that's nice. But last night I slept so hard. You know, I had only 2 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours for 3 days in a row, and it just nearly killed me. I couldn't sleep even during the day, and it was like little naps. And every time I did start to fall asleep, the door would open, or there'd be a knock, or a beep would go off, or, you know, and it's just difficult. And then in the late morning hours, then they have their rounds to do, which is cool. You know, I've been in that situation where I just fall asleep, stick out my arm, they take my blood pressure, and I go back to sleep. Yeah, that's non-disturbing, but I usually hear the door. So last night, when I passed out, I was sleeping hard. The door opened. I didn't hear a thing. That is so unusual. I'm usually so hypersensitive to my surrounding, even while I'm asleep. And the nurse, she couldn't waken me. She called my name. She knocked. She couldn't get. She walked. She looked at me, and I said, "Was I snoring?" She goes, "No, you were perfectly peaceful." And so she walked right over here beside my bed. She looked right at me to, you know, like a nurse would just get right up to look at you. And my eyes popped open and I screamed because I just saw the silhouette of this person on top of me. And I screamed and then she screamed. And they heard it all the way down the hallway. They were like, "Whoa, what was that?" The screaming going on. We scared each other. She scared me and I scared her. We had a good laugh, but then how do you go back to bed after that? But I did. I was so blasted, and I just passed back out. And when the doctor came in this morning, I wouldn't even get out of the covers. I had the covers around my face, and he walked in and said, "Good morning." And he's like, and he wanted to talk about the next day, and I said, "No, no, no, I want to discharge." And he's like, "I want to go over the results with you of the CAT scan, so, and I want to give you another back antibiotic just in case." And then you'll be fine. And I said, okay, one more time, we can do this. So, yeah, I don't mean no trouble. Don't mean no troubles. No. So, today's the 10th, isn't it? So it would be yeah, it is. You know, the 10 is the one and the 0 is the thief. So, the patch over one eye. And so it's the imagination of the child if it's just the one and the shininess of the what? Of that money or you know, it's a daydreamer. So the 10 can be the daydreamer. It can. The one that gets in trouble in school because they can't focus on their work because they keep daydreaming, you know, drifting off. And they don't stay with you in conversation. So this girl has obviously never had a conversation with a human being. She's like an automaton. She has no emotional base to relate the words to. So when you tell her something, she's assessing, 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 and she's listing and listing and in her mind, but not ever feeling it. She didn't have any feeling at all. I could tell. I could tell. I mean, right there. So I gave her a tongue lashing, which she'll get from a lot of people, and she's never gotten it. Then she's been sheltered. And I don't know, maybe some sort of standards they have with hiring practices. They just hire them. But there comes a point where they need to make sure that it's the right kind of person that can work, especially in this environment. I don't know. Who am I to say? Get out of my room. See, now I'm lifting myself up before they come back in and do my blood pressure. Josh will probably talk to him and say, "Leave the guy alone." Good Lord, he's probably bent just from having to be here. But I told him why too. And I even pointed at her. I said, "That nurse right there is scary." Okay? And her name is, what is it? It's a very strange name. Rowan or something. Where on earth? Oh, something did happen today. I saw the pastor of that came in the first time 4 months ago that did an assessment. I told him about the mark of the beast and who I am as the son of perdition and that I wanted to talk about it. And it freaked him out. He's saying, ah, he's got, right? Well, I saw him. And so I ushered him in and he came here and I sat on the bed and I said, say a prayer with me. And he said, okay. And he said, who do you want to pray for? And I said, the country. I want to pray for the country. And I want to pray for the fact that they're going to try to, in any measure, to make a war, to create a war in any capacity as they try to usurp this nation. And we're going to pray for those who would be harmed by such a thing. But we're not praying against someone. We're praying for those that would be harmed for such a thing. And he agreed and he said the prayer and it was very, very nice. And of course, my mind is saying its own prayer. I thanked him and I think he felt much better because then we did talk and how are you feeling since we last saw him? I said, I got through chemo and I'm friendly and I'm offering conversation. And this is how humans communicate. This is how humans connect on a spiritual, emotional level, not textbook. No, and not socialism. No, not democracy. No, we can understand the meaning of the words. So this is very important. And to pray for the elections. I told him, pray for the elections. That means all states. Yeah. So that was comforting. I'm glad that I needed to make that connection, finish that up, wash clean that. Maybe now the witness can get a little rain. I don't know. Will it ever rain? Here we are in the middle of June. Never seen rain. Yeah. So, anyways, with that thief, we're talking about though adding five. Yeah, which makes the six. The man. The six is the money. The six is the man. The expansion. It's potential, and it's family and nurturing. So, yeah, I have that at a minimal level. I remember when I left here the first time, I felt that there was a family unit here, and I felt like I was part of it because I was here a whole week. And they sort of helped restore my faith in so many different ways. Even the nurse that I got upset at that wouldn't fulfill what she needed to do to help me because she had a dying patient. And I do have sympathy for the person that's dying, and they should take priority. But I come from a past that my mom used guilt on me all the time. Yeah, that's how she was the master of giving you guilt, because guilt is guilt, which is silver as wisdom. So she worked off guilt, and I'm not going to take it anymore. And I told my mother I won't take it either. And it upsets people when you go to protect your own self and say no, but we have a policy. See, now that doesn't mean anything to me, especially on a number 5 day. That doesn't mean anything to me. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm talking about me, my human body. I'm talking about having the emotional base to know that pain needs to stop. Yeah. The Lord overcomes death and hell. We have to overcome pain. And when you do go overcome pain, and we all do, eventually, some of us, you don't remember it. No, you don't put it back together. Remember? No, you take it apart, you disperse it. You remember the good times, you remember joy, happiness. That's what you remember. Yeah. And then you experience the moment in those conditions, not in pain. But when they are giving physical pain, they will work. And that's why this was important. And my choice to sign a release to give them permission to put it in my body makes it my possession. And I'm going to protect it because I know it's important. But it can't be just exclusive to one person or the other who seems to want to claim it as theirs. It's mine. Yeah. And it'll require it to come out one day. Thank God. They need support their whole life. Right? They're only supposed to be in for a year. Then they would have to surgically replace it and put a new one in. Yeah, it's protocol. I can understand that if it's that active, but who would be doing that? Maybe a stent for dialysis or something, for a port for dialysis and a little bit more long term. Who knows? But I certainly wasn't going to allow some little girl on the autistic spectrum to evaluate me. She listened to my lungs. I'm very friendly. I don't have any problem with that. But then when she's going to tell me about my skin and what's wrong with me, and then assume why. So that's why. She may have been talking about my skin, but see, that doesn't mean anything. It sounded like she was talking about my cancer because she's talking about smoking. She was probably saying your skin is like this because you smoked. Okay, I need to hear that from you. Do I really need to hear that from you? Am I here to be punished by some little girl? Get the hell out. You should have heard me. There's a 98, 90 something year old woman across the hall from me. She laughed yesterday, bless her heart. And she was on NPO. And she yelled at them so bad. What are you trying to come here? She stood her ground. They tried to reason with her. But then I noticed out there that the NPO was, they pushed it back into the slot and they brought her a tray. Now, she probably wasn't ready for surgery. She probably came out of surgery. And she's probably not ready for food, but give her something. She's alive. When you're that far along, don't hold back that much. It's going to give someone comfort. Yeah, unless she had to go in for surgery. She didn't need to put food in her tummy. But I doubt that's what's the case. But she seems friendly enough. I'd love to go talk, walk in there and say hi, but that's intrusion. Patients don't walk into other patients' rooms. Yeah, that's intrusion. So that's a full walker. I might run into him. I say hi to everybody I walk by, but this one tonight is a doozy. And thank God she gave me my meds. And the only thing left to do is to draw blood, unless I want painkillers. So I took that at, let's see, would have been, yeah, right now. So yeah, I took it now. I took it early. So by 3 o'clock in the morning, I might need something. But if I'm sound asleep, I won't. Like last night, I didn't take it. So it's just Tylenol. It's easing the pain in my hips. Yeah. So, anyways, that potential of time on the thief. I hate to just say it's a thief, but it is. It's not a one. It's a one and a zero. Well, it's that thief by way of a hand upon the thief creates the man. And so maybe she'll be a better person. Maybe she finally realizes that there is something greater, or maybe in communication. But her position here is so lax. There was a lot of inpatients today, a lot of new patients. They cleared rooms. I walked the halls, and it was empty room, empty room, empty room, empty room, empty room, patient. I think I'm going to get my blood pressure. I'll see y'all later.